Hello there, everyone. Uh, Thank you for checking out this video, the answers of all the questions that were asked. Oh my god, you guys asked so many questions. I wasn't expecting to get this many, and also this is I haven't like looked at the questions and written down any answers or anything like that. So, God, I don't feel prepared. Also, sorry this came out this week rather than a couple weeks ago when I initially wanted to try to get it done. That during that time there was a lot of really heavy things that happened, and it was really tricky to be able to try to do that. But okay, let's get into this. Okay, the first ones we've got some questions here from Chevy Man 3030. Let's see, what's your favorite color? Uh my favorite. It's. I want to say black, but black's not really a color apart from black. Either, and I'm quite indecisive with this as well. I really like red. I quite like purple, and I really like green as well. Not really any of them together, but I apart from black with any of those. Black with any of those is really cool. But yeah, those are my favorite colors. What is your quest? um, is is this a reference to a Monty Python? My quest is to be able to share my music with all you guys, and my quest is ongoing and going really well. Yay! Also, sorry, a lot of these answers are probably going to be really cheesy and really sort of terrible. Okay. What is the airspeed of an unladen swallow? You've got me there. I have no idea. I don't even know what unladen means. No, I'm bad at this. Um, Quite fast. We'll go with quite fast. Um, do you like multiple choice questions? Questions? You mean multiple choice answers? Either way, yeah, they can be fun. Am I annoying you with this? No, it's fun. Yay for questions. Um, did you hear what I hear? I hear crickets far away. If that's what you hear, then what are you doing outside my house? Uh, why is one? Why is one the loneliest number? Because the number one, and number one is only one. Why did zero break up with one? Because zero realized it was nothing and couldn't live up to the one, which was all of one, while zero was all of nothing. So zero zero didn't feel it was good enough to be with one. It's very sad. It's very sad. Um, when am I gonna stop this thing? Looks like in four or so more questions. Um, why did you buy those tickets to my nightmare ride? I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, but I don't regret it. 11, please make me stop. I can make you stop in one more question, it looks like, or maybe two. Uh, Tank. Okay. Good for you. 13. And this has been your local insane in the mainframe saying, I'll get yous in the next one. You keep up the good work, everyone, bruh. Thank you, I think. Maybe. Yay. Questions. Okay. All right, on to the next question from Davis. Can we make suggestions for you to read a story? I I write music. I don't read stories. I suppose I have done a comic dub once or twice. I mean, but or to do a song based on it. I mean, I don't really take suggestions, not really. But I mean, I guess you can. I mean, it's never something I've really been asked. I mean, I get inspired to write music about things sort of rather spontaneously rather than having them being planned. I mean, God, I've written a song about it, about the way pigeons sound in certain countries. I mean, God, I'll write songs about weird things sometimes. Shout out to Scribbler for that. convincing me to do that one. I don't think I ever would have without her telling me without her pushing me to do it. Um, but yeah, I mean, the Diaries of a Madman sounds interesting. It sounds cool. Also, a lot of the music that I write can be written to be interpreted in lots of different ways. Like, I mean, I'll write a song and have lots of different influences of other things. Even the songs with vocals, I'll have different influences influencing the song from multiple sources, and then I'll also write it to be ambiguous enough to be applied to lots of things as well, so that people can find their own stories in my music. Yeah. Alrighty, next question is from Liquid Harmony. Hey, Liquid Harmony, who's your favourite person to collab with? That's a very cheeky question, especially coming from you, who is someone who I collaborate with. I can't pick a favorite collaborator. I mean, I know I said to everyone to ask me any question, but that's a rough one. I mean, how could I give a name? Because if I did say someone, then everyone else who I collaborate with, if they ever saw this, they'd feel bad, and they might not collaborate with me again. So, I mean, I can't say. I mean, it was a lot of fun collaborating with you, Liquid Harmony, and I mean, I have a lot of fun collaborating with everyone that I get to collaborate with. I know that's a real cop-out answer, but it's the one I'm going with. And what's the hardest song I've ever worked on? Gosh, that's a really interesting question. I mean, some songs have been really difficult. Like, I mean, actually, the song I did with you, Liquid Harmony, the Sakura one, Lost in Ley Lines. That was a real slow going one, but on that one I never really got stuck, I suppose, for a really long time. But that one just had so many layers that it really took a lot of work to get that one done. So that one was really hard. But I mean, as far as the hardest, I mean, I've had my song Black Rose was sort of half done, waiting for vocals to be sort of finished on that for, I think, nearly 2 years. So I mean, that was a really, really hard one. Limbo, which I did with Ilya Leonov. God, I nearly killed the poor guy there, getting him to do vocal takes over and over for me until I was happy with how the final thing turned out, and I was so happy with it in the end. Similar with another song which I've recently finished, which I'm not sure if it'll actually, it will be uploaded by the time you guys hear this. The recent one, actually, Craving Chains. The poor girl Sabrina, I nearly killed her as well, just like I did with Ilya, asking for more and more and more takes of all the vocals. So I nearly killed those poor guys. And yeah, I mean, other songs have been really tricky as well. I think one of the hardest things to deal with music writing is actually not really having much to write, and sort of finding a bit of a creative drought and reaching that, and finding it really difficult to... Oh, there's a car driving past. I'm sorry. Oh, and they've, I don't know, stopped outside and just revving their engine. That was annoying. I'm sorry. And yeah, just sort of reaching a creative drought and having a really hard time writing anything. So that's tricky as well. Alrighty, next comment. From Narrator Pony Freebird, yeah, no. And Charmless, happy to be with you since 2K Mike. Oh, thank you. Thank you for listening to my music. Alrighty, next question's from Starry Flame. Best Pony. Rarity always used to be my favourite one. She was always my favourite of the main 6. But I think I've switched over to Twilight. I don't know. I really enjoy watching Twilight. She's very adorable. And favourite official true pairing, it was always Rare Jack. Rare Jack was always my favourite one. But I mean, since then, I really, really love reading Lyrabon stuff. Their stuff is really, really adorable and just really, really sweet. And yeah, it makes me happy to read their stuff. It's always really sort of feel good. Well, I mean, mostly fairly feel good stories, and their sort of pairing usually feels the most genuine. Because I mean, God, it's almost bloody canon. But yeah, Rare Jack is a really awesome one. I really actually like Twijack. Twijack's another one which I've gotten into recently, and yeah, also Vinyl and Octavia. They're always really fun as well with their pairings. And next question, what's the piece of music you had the most fun with? Oh God, this is another really tricky one because I mean I could go over like 20 or 30 of my songs and be like, this is really fun in this one, this is really fun in this. I mean, like, I'll just go through some random ones. My song Voodoo, I know that was a while ago, that one. Sort of very much towards the end, there's sort of a long crescendo thing of multiple solos playing on top of each other, and that was a lot of fun. I was really proud of that. Um, the song Valkyrie's Amorosity. That was the first song I wrote. That was the first song I wrote with. Oh yeah, there's no editing in this either. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to put up with that. That was the first song that I wrote with my PRS. And I was. I've perfected the sound a little more in the editing since then, but I became so addicted to the solo in the end of that one. That was one of the very few solos that I actually go back sometimes and play. I mean, I write down all my different songs, but I really loved the sound of that solo. Eden was a real fun song because I wrote that one with my sister. And it's the only one that I've ever written with her. And she had just sort of started playing guitar. Then she doesn't play guitar anymore, but that was a really fun one that I got to write with her, and that was really quite special for that reason. Dystopian Circus was really, really fun. I was really, really proud of the way that happened when that came out, and especially for the time when I wrote that, I thought that turned out really well. Sorry, again, I could go on for so many of these. Hallucinating Colors, that I was really proud of that one when that turned out. My first insanely long song, and turned out really well. Flightless Fury, it's probably a lot of people's favorite. It's the biggest one on my channel, but I was really blown away when that started blowing up and thought, holy shit, what's happening? This is amazing. Vortex is another one which you guys will see pretty soon. That was a really recent one, and I was really quite proud of the way that one turned out. That was really, really cool. Queen of the Streets. Queen of the Streets is definitely. I had a lot of fun with Queen of the Streets, working with John Thorsall, who's an amazing vocalist, and I need to work with some more. And my girlfriend Scribbler, was getting her into my songs was a lot of fun. And I mean, jazz metal with saxophone and guitars. That one's probably the most fun song. Right, I should probably stop there because I could keep going for ages, but I think I've stumbled across the most fun one. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Next question from Team Idris. Are you coming to England in the summer? I'm sorry, Idris, I'm not actually. This summer, well, your summer, I'm assuming, in July, because our summers are backwards to yours. In July, well, I mean, in August, Scribbler's actually going to be coming down to me in Australia this time, so we'll both be here in Australia rather than me going to England like last year. Alrighty, next one from Ponyseer. No question, it's just, thanks, man. That's really cool of you. I have a lot of fun collaborating with you. You're awesome, and you're an amazing musician as well. You're really cool, and you're a good friend. Alrighty, next up we've got a bunch of questions from Solar Pony. Greatest felicitations. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to go with thank you. And now for questions. My apologies if some of these have been asked already. Where do you find the inspiration for the music you make? Well, that one wasn't. Maybe it was asked before, but I mean, I kind of answered. I find it everywhere. God, from pigeons to pony stories, to things I'm going through in real life, to things my friends are going through in real life, and then other times I just jam around the guitar and just have a lot of fun and see what comes out. I mean, all of those different things. 2, is there any other hobbies you enjoy besides music? Ooh, this is a good one. I do a lot of taekwondo. sort of international type. It's ITF Taekwondo, the International Taekwondo Federation. I'm a second Dan black belt in that. I'm going to be going for my third at the end of the year, and I'm really excited and nervous for that, and doing a lot of training for that. That's a lot of fun. I do that twice a week, and actually even just a couple of weeks ago, taught my first class at this new club, because I've only been with this new club for about a year, and doing really quite well. And that class went amazingly well, and yeah, the instructor's trying to teach me into opening. I was trying to talk me into opening my own club up, which is absolutely insane. But I don't know, maybe one day. So yeah, there's Taekwondo, which is good fun. I'm not sure if I'd call myself a gamer, but I play. I wouldn't say I play a lot of games, but I'll find a select few games, and then I'll play them to death. Like some of these games. I played a lot of Skyrim back when that was around. Really into Diablo 3 at the moment. Played a lot of that. Borderlands 2 is probably one of my very favorite games. I played that a lot. And some of the Pokemon games. I do have, it's actually been a good while now since I've done any Pokemon stuff, but I used to do a lot of sort of online competitive battling, and sort of breeding them with the high EVs and the IVs, and all the moves and hidden abilities and all that sort of stuff. If you know anything about those, then yeah, shout outs to you. I'd love if anyone else out there is into competitive Pokemon battling, and isn't Black Iris Balloon because you're like my Pokemon battling rival, then I'd love to battle with you guys. Or if you're into, if you want to get into that, then I'll happy to trade you some cool Pokemon as well, because I've got lots of spares. And yeah, so we're only at question 2. This is going to be a long video. I'm already got it like about 17 minutes. This is crazy. Do you have any more fandoms you like besides MLP? Oh, actually, that kind of reminds me about other hobbies. Other fandoms. I'm not sure if I'd actually been. Would I? I mean, I'm also really into sort of like superhero comics and stuff, like DC and Marvel type things. Scribbler has been getting me into those over the last couple of years, and I've been loving the movies and looking up a lot of different stories and characters and origins and different things. And I would by no means call myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm not sure if I'd say I'm a part of any of those fandoms, but I listen to a lot of different podcasts and stuff like that, but that'd probably be the closest one that I'm into of another fandom. Next question. What has been the most enlightening thing for you in the past year on any subject? The most enlightening thing? I can pick some favorite things. I can pick some highest and lowest moments, but the most enlightening, that's tricky. I'd probably, and I mean, this would also go for one of my absolute highlights for the past year, was BronyCon last year. Was just amazing. I had such an amazing time at BronyCon with Scribbler and a bunch of my other friends there in America. That was also my first trip to America, and that was phenomenal. That entire summer was amazing. That was really, really awesome. What is the best conversation you have had so far this year? The best conversation. I'm sorry, I've really got nothing. I mean, there have been some great conversations, I suppose. None that I really can separate from others. Like, I mean, I'll more so remember like a good week of a lot of good conversations at a time. But I mean, yeah, it'd probably be one with Scribbler. I have a lot of long conversations with Scribbler, which are always really nice and really fun. All right, next. There is a spontaneous zombie apocalypse. Shit, I'm doomed. And you need a proficient zombie killing weapon. The only things you can find at the current time are all your instruments. What do you take? No, not my instruments. I can't use my instruments for weapons. I mean, I could. I really could, but I wouldn't want to. God, I'd I'd die just hugging my instruments and praying for the zombies not to touch them. Um, God, what do you take? Well, I suppose I'd have to take the bass guitar because it's the heaviest, so it would do the most damage. And you're breaking my heart, Solar. Why are you doing this to me? Next question. What is your in-depth opinion on puppies? Puppies are very sweet. They're very adorable. They're very cute. They can make a lot of mess. a lot of mess. God, I don't have any really in-depth opinions. They are wonderful creations. They are wonderful creations, and go get yourself a puppy because puppies are awesome. Next question. Tell me, what is the best part of glorious spaghetti? A good spaghetti can be really, really tasty. Making sure it's cooked absolutely perfectly, which it's not that difficult to get spaghetti cooked really well, but I think the best part about spaghetti is actually getting a really good sort of bolognese going with it, and sort of completing it with good beef-based bolognese and some nice cheese, and that's what makes a glorious spaghetti, is everything else that goes with it. Next question. Do you ponder life sometimes? I suppose a little bit. Probably, yeah. Sometimes I'll sort of stop and try to think what I'm doing will matter in a bunch of years, and sort of look towards the future and stuff like that. So yeah, sometimes I do. All right. And last question. What are the true, most pure qualities on this world in which we live? God, some of these questions are tough. I think just trying to be a really nice person, trying to be a kind person to everyone around you, and try to be honest to yourself, and just try to do to others what you would like done to you, and try to treat everyone with respect, and try to be a happy and friendly person to everyone that you meet, and try not to get too caught up on ideals or breaking down other people's ideals or anything like that. Just try to get along and try to be a happy and nice person to everyone. Look at that, I did kind of have an answer. It was kind of rubbish, but yeah. Yay. And congrats on the 3,000. Thank you for all the questions as well. Wow, that was fun. Next up, we've got Nightmare Rider. It was a pleasure meeting you, Buck 2014. Thank you. It was really awesome to be able to meet you as well. Oh, that was, that was fun. Shame you couldn't be there for the finale, but Scribbler reminded me of how much you really enjoyed it. Being a fan. Yes, I do remember that. I was I was really blown away. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm pretty sure I asked to get a photo with you because you were I think the very first person to recognize me, and that blew me away. I was very excited. Okay, so here are your questions. Which bands are your biggest musical inspirations on your style? Oh, gosh, that's really tricky, especially because I've actually got I've got a few different musical styles. I've like, for my really just straight up heavy metal stuff, some of my biggest influences would be like the American band OTEP, Lamb of God, In Flames, Machine Head, Meshuggah, Gojira, Strapping Young Lad, and bands like that. And for my more progressive rock, sort of lighter type stuff, some of my influences would be like Porcupine Tree, Riverside, Devin Townsend solo stuff, Anathema, Pineapple Thief, solo stuff by Steven Wilson and stuff like that. I've those would probably be my biggest musical inspirations to my style, and sort of those are the ones that I try to write stuff similar to in different ways. Are there any musicians within the Brony fandom or otherwise you would like to collaborate with? Yes, there are loads of people that I would love to collaborate with. There are some amazing people, even just within this fandom. There are amazing people that, amazing vocalists, amazing musicians, which I try to talk to a fair bit and try to talk into doing collabs when they're free or when I'm free and stuff like that. And as far as outside the fandom, I mean, geez, I mean, any of the ones I mentioned before, I mean, God, if I ever got to work with any of them, I mean, that'd be beyond a dream come true. Next question. Which of your songs do you think best represents your music as a whole? Oh, that's that's a really tough one. Just because I mean, I've got some stuff which is like really really light and gentle and sort of almost hypnotic and soothing sounding. Then I've got nothing which is just I've got stuff which is just like balls to the wall, heavy as hell, brutal guitars, and then I've got a few really kind of electronic-y sort of songs. I've got some which are just acoustic guitars. I've got so many different kinds of things. I've got some which are just orchestral. So I suppose if I had to pick one which sort of represent my music as a whole, I'd probably either go with like hallucinating colors, just because it's kind of a cop out because it's so bloody long. It has nearly all my different styles within it. And the other one, which is basically equally just as much of a cop out, would be Absolution, which just like hallucinating colors, it's like 15 minutes long and goes through a bunch of different styles and different sounds and is progressive and is basically has all my different styles in it. So I guess yeah, either of those two, I suppose. And yeah, thank you for your questions. Alrighty, next up we've got Red Tiger. Don't know what to ask my friend other than what is your favorite kind of music? I mean, yeah, I mean, just like those bands I mentioned before that I really like listening to. I mean, I love really heavy metal stuff, which just gets you really sort of excited and pumped and sort of ready to go and sort of ready to run, or I don't know, and stuff like that, and just sort of gets you excited. And then I mean, I really love progressive rock and progressive metal and sort of stuff like that, and really sort of getting carried away in the music. Those are my favorite kinds of music. And yay, you're awesome too. Thank you for your comment, Red. Next up, we've got Griffin Productions. You've probably already been asked this, but why don't you do more songs with vocals? Lost Hysteria. Oh wow, you are like do more songs with me singing. Wow, that's actually thank you. That comment means a lot to me. I actually always thought that Lost to Hysteria. I mean, I actually found that to be one of my songs which got the most negative comments out of all my songs. So I was like, oh no, everyone hates my voice. So I didn't. So basically, that was one of the reasons that I actually stopped doing a lot of vocals on my songs. But thank you. That means a lot to me. I've actually recently done a song which has me singing on it. I'm not too sure when it'll come out. It's on my SoundCloud. It'll be up on YouTube at some point, but that one's called Breaking Point. That's a heavy metal one where I sang on it. And another one of mine, which I don't think has been uploaded yet, is Black Rose. Maybe that's been uploaded. I'm not sure, but that's another one with me singing. So yeah, Black Rose and Breaking Point. They're two that you probably wouldn't have heard of, which have me singing on them. Yeah. Alrighty, next up we have Mackenzie179. This video was awesome. I think you're very. Oh, you're thanking me for the Q&A one. But thank you. That's very very nice of you. Actually, you're the best because what you say is heartfelt and it's like I could hear the feelings from your voice. Oh, thank you, man. That's really really cool of you. In conveying my feelings of gratitude to artists and getting to know what they feel, I'm happy to hear that you feel grateful too. But then with how I feel as gratitude is like a gratitude spiral. Such a wonderful thing. Thank you. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Um, and here are your questions. What are your favorite musical bands, musical roots, and inspirations? As per the ones I said before, I'll repeat them again because I've sort of musical influences for progressive rock and metal: Riverside, Devin Townsend, Anathema, Porcupine Tree, Pineapple Thief, OSI, Stephen Wilson solo stuff, as well as like Opeth, and my heavy metal stuff. I influences from OTEP, Lamb of God, In Flames, Machine Head, Meshuggah, Gojira, Strapping Young Lad, stuff like that. And how much mean MLP and ponies to you? They mean a lot. I mean, I love this fandom. I mean, God, without them, I have no idea what I'd be doing at the moment. Because I mean, I wouldn't have found all you guys to listen to my music. So I owe a lot to the Brony community and ponies as a whole. And I mean, how much they mean to me. I'm looking up at the moment, and on one of my speakers is the plushie of myself that Scribbler got made for me. On the wall behind it is all these posters of ponies and different things, and then on top of my computer, where my guitars plug in, I've got little figurines of like Twilight, Rarity, Fluttershy, New 52 Twilight, which is a joke that only Scribbler will get. It's like a recolor of Twilight, which I called New 52 Twilight, which is a DC reference, which is fun. So I mean, yeah, I love ponies. Ponies is really, really fun. And thank you for your questions and for all your kind comments. You leave a lot of really awesome comments, and that's really cool of you. All right, next up we've got Cole Linard. Congratulations, Reverb. Here's the next 1,000 onwards. Thank you, Cole. Okay, question. What is your favorite genre of music to listen to, and what's your favorite to write? Favorite to listen to and favorite to write will probably be heavy metal and progressive rock. I have a lot of fun with those, and they're very inspiring. So yay. Thank you. Next up, we've got Lieutenant Cole Rayquaza. Are you going to any cons in the coming year? Cider Fest, BronyCon, etc. Any cons I'm going to, I doubt you'll actually be at, because the only cons I'm going to this year are going to be in Australia. There's a con I'm going to be going to in Perth around the end of June, called Supernova. I'm looking forward to that one. That'll be a lot of fun. And there's one that Scribbler and I may be going to in Sydney around the end of August. Not confirmed though yet. That's just a maybe. And those are the cons I'm going to. So yeah, if anyone's in Perth, and is coming to Supernova at the end of June, I'd love to see you there. I'm going to be dressed up as Green Lantern. Green Arrow. Fuck. No! Green Arrow. Yeah, I'm going to be Green Arrow. Oliver Queen. Fun times. Yay! Next up, we've got Visions of the Poet. Still not 10,000. Humanity, I'm seriously disappointed. Oh, you're funny. You're a funny guy. Questions. Which of your tracks is your least and most favorite? More interested in hearing your opinions on the least favorite. Oh gosh. My least favorite, I suppose. I find that my earliest stuff, like my really, really earliest stuff, like the stuff at the very, very start of my channel, if I ever listen to that, I have a real hard time listening to it because I hear mistakes, I hear things which are more out of time than others, and I hear my bad editing and producing skills, and I'm like, oh gosh. So they're quite hard to hear, I suppose. And then apart from those, I've got ones which I wrote before I was uploading to the Pony channel, sort of my very solo acoustic stuff, which I've now stripped away from the internet because it's that embarrassing. So, if I hope you don't manage to find that, but if someone does, then oh god, that's painful. You'll find your own punishments if you find that, because it'll be painful to listen to. Um, but yeah, my most favorite songs of mine, which even saying that sentence sort of feels a little vain, but I mean, yeah, I've got songs of mine which I'm really quite proud of, which I mentioned before. I mean, I'm really quite proud of the way that like Queen of the Streets turned out. I was very proud of Absolution, the way that turned out, and um, Hallucinating Colours. Flightless Fury, I was really proud of how that turned out as well. That's definitely up there. Vortex is another one which I think turned out really, really well, which I'm not sure if you guys would have heard yet. And yeah, I could go on. I try to only release songs of mine that, especially these days, that I mean even the ones before as well. I only release songs which I feel really sound good. And the ones which I released ages ago, I thought sounded really good when I wrote them, but listening back, I was thinking, oh god, that's maybe not as good as I thought it was. But yeah, I mean, I try to always release ones that I'm really that I think sound good. Next question: have you considered exploring other creative hobbies in addition to music, like fanfics or visual art? This is an interesting one. Actually, a long time ago, I used to do a bit of drawing. No, it doesn't even remotely compare to the sort of stuff which is around the fandom these days. God, you guys are some crazy talented people. I used to do a bit of drawing. I might see if I can dig up one and throw it on the screen. If it's on the screen, then I managed to have found it. But if not, then I'm really sorry and I couldn't find anything. Writing fanfics, I again, that's another one which is, it looks like the sort of thing that a lot of people could do, but trust me, it's not. I mean, I wouldn't want to write a fanfic and have it be as bad as I'm sure it would be if I wrote one, because I know that there's a lot involved with writing and writing well. So yeah, I'll probably just stick to music. And third question: will I please not be crucified for missing out on your music for months? Of course. I'm not going to crucify you. I'm glad to have you back. I've missed you. And I love your music as well. You always make amazing stuff. We need to collaborate sometime. Hint, hint. Alrighty, next up we've got Storm Chaser. Congrats on 3,000 subs. Thank you, Storm. Number one, what do you think of Season 6 so far? I found Season 6 to be a bit of a mixed bag. There's some episodes that I really love. I loved the Maud Pie one. I actually really quite liked the recent... Well, God, it was recent when I'm writing this. I really liked the Trixie one. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I wasn't such a fan of the season opener. Wasn't all that much of a fan of the Apple Bloom Cutie Mark Crusader one. I wasn't too impressed with that one. Or the Spike the Dragon one, where he sort of meets his new friend, although she was really quite adorable with her snarkiness, but how she always blushed and stuff, that was quite fun. But pretty much all the other episodes I really, really enjoyed. So yeah, I found some which I really like, and then some which I was like, not all that impressed. But yeah, it's a fun season. Looking forward to more of it. Question 2. Out of all the songs you've come up with since you started YouTube, which songs are your personal favourites? You know what I should have done? For each time anyone asks me this, I should pick a different song, so I say more of them. Some other ones which are more of my favourites as well. I really like Energized. I think that turned out really well, which you guys still haven't heard yet either. I need to upload that one as well. Cybernetics was really great. I really like how that one turned out. With it was awesome to be able to work with Razor Tongue again. God, he's such an amazing vocalist. And yeah, the other ones I said before, like Queen of the Streets, Absolution. Desire is another one which I really like. That's probably my favourite acoustic based song, Desire. I think that one turned out really quite well. And is the cake truly a lie? I hope not. I really hope the cake's not a lie, because cake's beautiful and I like cake. I could go for some cake. I want some cake. Alrighty. And next up we've got Pegasynth, Ellis, Dora. Diponis. I see you comment a lot on my stuff, and I always know you as soon as I recognize you, but I've never actually tried pronouncing your name before, just because I've never had to, and it's hard, man. It's hard. Um, how much money do you have invested in your studio? Not all that much. I mean, God, my PRS guitar is worth more than everything else I've got in my studio combined. I mean, God, calling it a studio is it's not a studio. I've got a computer with two screens, sort of two fairly big speakers on each side of the screens, and I've got an audio interface, which is like a little box which I plug my guitars into, and that plugs into the firewire of my computer, and that's basically my studio apart from my guitars. Apart from that, I've got a bunch of programs. Programs are what make up the rest of my studio. Studio being in inverted commas. All up, how much do I have involved in my guitars and all my programs and my speakers and stuff? Maybe. Well, I mean, actually, adding up all my guitars as well. I mean, God, actually, just adding up my guitars would be about. Let's see, about 3 for the PRS, then about 1.5 for each of the rest. So 1.5, 3, 4.5. Maybe about 10 grand for the guitars. I'm not selling them. That sounded like I was selling them. It's like that's what I was asking for. No. And then all the different music programs and all the add-ons that I've got for those would maybe be about 2.5 grand, maybe. And then everything else, maybe $1,000. So yeah, add those up. I think it was. It'd be under 20 grand. Jeez, even saying it like that sounds like a lot. Next question. Any new guitars since your last Q&A? I'm pretty sure I had my PRS then. So no, I don't think so. The newest stuff that I've got recently is my speakers. And even those I got about a year ago. But oh God, they've been such a blessing. I'm so glad I got those. Before that, I was mixing everything with headphones and listening to everything with headphones. And it was... don't do that. It's bad. And it hurts your head after you just have headphones on and listening to music for hours and hours on end. Pardon me. Alrighty, next question. What other guitars, bass, piano, or other do you want or have been looking at? I feel there's a joke about OBAB about OBAB being an instrument, but I can't put it together. Good. I'm glad, because that sounds like a bad joke. Pianos are lots of fun. Sorry, there's another car driving past. Pianos are lots of fun. I mean, as a scribbler would be able to tell you pretty much, I can't walk past a piano that I'm allowed to play without getting in trouble, without sitting down and just playing it, because pianos are so much fun. I love pianos. Also, my grandfather has a piano, and I reckon he must have spent a good $5 or so grand on his piano. It's a stunning piano. It's a very cool electric piano, and anytime I go over there, I have a lot of fun on that. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have a room for a piano. I don't have room in this place for a piano, but a piano, especially an electric piano, which I'd be able to record with and use for songs, that'd be a lot of fun. That's sort of like a bit of a dream instrument in a dream house and a fantasy world. Next up, we got Gina. First, you might have been first. Sorry, all these comments have now got muddled up. I'm sorry that yours is now being answered like 40 minutes into the video. Congrats on 3,000 subs. Thank you, Gina. How long have you been making music? Gosh, I mean, pretty much ever since I started playing guitar, I've been trying to create music in some way or another. And I started guitar when I was 16, and I'm now 27. So, yeah, a little over 11 years. But I think the phase of my writing of music sort of went like, I've been doing all this sort of writing music on computers and stuff since 2013. Before that, so that was like the last 3 years. Then Before that, I had about 3 or 4 years of writing my terrible acoustic solo songs, which you'll never hear because they're garbage and terrible. And before that, I used to play in a heavy metal band called Cicerno back in one of my hometowns, actually, and that sort of overlapped a little bit with my terrible acoustic stuff. But the stuff that I wrote with them, that was really quite cool. I was really quite proud of that, and we were a pretty cool band for a while. Before that, I had my own band, which I think our name was Red Steel, but I think like we were a kind of band where I wrote all the songs for the band, and they were okay, I suppose, but like we only really played like one gig. It was a really fun gig and it went really well. It was really cool, and that was really fun and really stressful. But and that was sort of about 3 or so years before that terrible acoustic stuff as well. So that's my rough, very very rough timeline of how I've been making music. Next question: how were you introduced to MLP? Let's see. It was probably late 2012 or early 2013 that I think I was out of work at one point ages ago, and I was sort of watching things on YouTube and sort of had seen a bunch of pony memes and stuff around the place and thought, what is this about? This is really weird. And I heard about the bronies and thought, that sounds odd. That sounds weird, but I've got to see what all this fuss is about. I'm sure a lot of people have very similar stories back in the day, sort of finding out about bronies and being like, what? What's this? This is weird. This can't make sense. And then I watched the season opener and I was like, whatever. But I didn't have much to do, and I think I might have watched another one or two when I got home, and then I was like, hang on, this show might have something about it which isn't too bad. And I was like, oh god. And then I watched about another 3, and I was like, oh god, this show, it's got me under its spell. And yeah, I think there was a part like about halfway through season 1 where I was just like, holy shit, this is actually kind of amazing. I need to know more about this. And then that's when I sort of spiraled from there. I sort of started looking up more brony things and all the interviews of all the different people, and that's pretty much how I got into MLP. That's my origin story of Reverb Brony. Next question: how did you and Scribbler meet? Scribbler and I actually met because I applied to create music for her for the Heroic Tales radio play. I was actually, and I'm quite proud about this, I was the first one apart from her involved in the project, so I was the first one on board, so that was a lot of fun, and I got to chatting to her a lot about that as well. And at the time, I think she was one of my very first friends in the brony community, and that was really quite tricky for me as well, just because I didn't have any brony friends, and I was looking for brony friends at the time. And it was really sweet of her to, like, even at the time, I think then she had a few thousand subscribers, and I thought, she's an amazing, talented reader. I'm not sure if she's going to reply to my email, and she did, and we had a lot of good chats, and yeah, that's how I first met her, and pretty much straight away I could tell that she was a very special person. The question 4, favorite instrument. I have to go guitar. I have to say guitar. I mean, I have a lot of fun with piano. Piano is an amazingly fun instrument, but I can't not say guitar. I play way too much guitar for it not to be guitar. And your last question: how do you handle the responsibility of holding the title of Australian Jesus? That a lot of people listening to this might be like, what? But yeah, that was a nickname that that Scribbler gave me, and which has gone around a little bit and sort of caught on to a few it's funny. I don't know. It's clearly I don't know. I don't know how I do it, and I don't do much. I don't know. Yeah. Yay. I haven't got much of an answer for that one. I'm sorry, Gina. It's not too bad. I don't get asked to do much as Australian Jesus, so yeah, it's it's pretty cruisy. All right, next up we've got FIFO Devil. Beautiful words, thank you. And I only have 2 questions for the moment. Who is your favourite song? Yep. Well, I mean, my favourite song, God, I can't even pick a favourite single artist that I listen to, let alone a favourite song. God. I mean, even all those different artists that I mentioned before, of the heavy metal and the progressive rock and metal type stuff, I could give you like a favourite album of each of theirs, but I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard to pick a favourite single song. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's too hard. Of your songs, who is your favourite, or which is my favourite? Well, I mean, I guess that's easier. There's no one here as many. But, yeah, all those ones I mentioned before. Like I said, I'll try to pick a different one each time someone asks me this question. So, a different new favourite. You know what? Actually, my favourite chorus for any song that I've written is for Red Fire, which is a song which I recently did with Brie Lizzie T. And that one is definitely one of my favourites. I'm really proud of that one. So I'm going with that as my new favourite. And Bro Hoof from Chile. Yay, Bro Hoof, back to you from Australia, mate. And speaking of Red Fire and Brie Lizzie T, next up we've got Brie Lizzie T. We love you, Reverb, Brony. Thank you. Thank you. Question. Which pony is your favourite out of the main 6? As I said before, at one stage it was Rarity for a long time, but then I think at the moment it's probably Twilight. But they're all really awesome. Who is your favourite villain? I'm not sure. I mean, do you mean pony villain, or do you mean villain of all the villains? I mean, of all the villains, probably my most recent 2 favourites. And I mean, I know I'm adding another sort of thing to this, my recent favourites, but I loved the ones from the Marvel Netflix series, the Purple Man and Wilson Fisk were amazing villains. I loved those 2 as villains. They're phenomenal. But as far as the pony villains go, I gotta go with Discord. Discord's awesome. Discord's so much fun. I'll go with Discord. And question 3. I don't believe I've ever asked this, but do you speak any languages other than English? I speak some pretty random gibberish sometimes. But no, I don't. I mean, I don't speak any other languages. I learnt a little bit of Japanese in school, but I mean, God, I've forgotten all of it. And of all that I knew, I remember maybe dog and cat, which I think was Neko and Inu, maybe? And I think count. I think I remember how to count up to 5. Ichi ni san si go, something. Yeah, I don't know. I got lost there. I know a little bit of South Korean, which I knew for Taekwondo, but I mean, God, even all I know in that is a few stances and kicks and blocks and things like that. But I mean, and then apart from that, just thank yous and sort of apologies and stuff like that in different languages and hello and a few different ones. So no, I'll say no, I don't. And God, even pretending to claim that I roughly know any other language is like a massive insult to anyone who does actually speak other languages. So no, I'll say no. I just know English. Alrighty, next up we've got West Aussie Brumby. When did you first get into music? Well, I mean, I've been listening to music all my life through my parents and my family. So I mean, I've loved music for as long as I can remember in some form or another. But I mean, I started playing guitar because this is a really bad answer, because all my friends were doing it and it looked really fun and it looked really cool, and I was like, oh, I want to do that and I want to be a guitarist. And then when I started, I got into some heavy metal bands like Metallica and Megadeth and stuff like that, and I was playing all those stuff. And that at that stage, I was like, "Ooh, I want to do more of this. I want to become a musician," and that's how I really got into that. How did I ask Scribbler out? Way too late. I should have asked her out a lot earlier than I did, but I kind of tried, but then I didn't try very clearly. Initially, I tried to ask her out through a Valentine's Day song that I wrote for her, but I didn't make it clear at the time that I wrote that to try to ask her if I wanted to be, if she wanted to maybe be more than friends with me. It came across as, and maybe, I mean, this must have been something I said afterwards as well, that she still just thought that I wanted to just be her friends, but I mean, then about 6 months after that in the same year, I asked her out in person when I went to see her for the very first time. And yeah, that's how I asked her out. Next question. What is your favorite music and by whom from any part of time? Well, I mean, my favorite music, like I said before, is those different heavy metal and progressive rock and progressive metal bands. Do you think you would ever get to the 3K mark? No, I didn't think I'd even get to the 1,000K mark all those months ago. I'm really blown away, and it means so much to me that all you guys will stick around and listen to my music and comment and leave all these nice questions, and it still blows me away every single day, and I feel very, very, very lucky. What would be the best type of guitar that you would wish to play? There are some amazing guitars out there. I think I'm really lucky with my PRS, which I got. That was always basically my dream guitar to get and to have, and I feel very, very lucky just to be able to have that one. That was always my dream guitar. I'd love to, and this actually goes back to a different question, which I should have answered another way. I sort of thought of a different answer for it. Sort of dream instruments to have. I wouldn't mind getting an 8-string guitar and play some real mashuggery type stuff, but because they're a lot of fun. So yeah, I would like to play some 8-string guitar stuff. I played in a shop, but I've never actually bought one. Next question. Who would you love to work with in the Brony world in music? God, there are so many amazing Brony musicians that I'd love to work with. I'm currently working with Fritzy. He's agreed to work with me. I'm looking forward to being able to work with him. It'll be a lot of fun. I say a lot. I'm sorry. Another one that I'd love to work with, as per a couple comments ago that I said, was Visions of the Poet. I've been hassling him to collaborate with me a few times. He's very, very talented, and I'd love to be able to work with him, but he's really, really busy as well. All right, next question. What's it like working with all the famous people out there? I am very fortunate to be able to work with some very, very talented people, and it's amazing. I mean, some of them approach me to be like, hey, like, can I sing on your songs? And even that blows me away. It's like, you're an amazing singer. What are you doing contacting me? And then others I'll message them thinking they're not going to message me back. And then they do. And it's like, oh my God. So it's very, very exciting. Next question. What's with that hair? I like my hair. It took me a long time to grow this. It's my hair. Next question. How long does it take you to make a piece of your music? God. Well, ages ago, not that long ago, like a year or so ago, I used to be able to write a song each sort of week to 2 weeks. That was when I was really sort of smashing them out really fast and really quick. These days, it's more like a song each 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes closer to 3 weeks, especially because if I'm collaborating with anyone, then sometimes that song will take like a good 6 weeks or so, because I'll write everything and then I'll wait until they're free to help me out with the lyrics and stuff like that. So those ones can any song which I collaborate with other people usually takes about 2 or 3 times as long, just because I'm working with other people's schedules. There's a lot of sort of going back and forth and debating things, and then sometimes those songs actually never come out either. So yeah, it sort of changes depending on which kind of music there is. Next question. If you could play alongside anyone alive, who would it be? God. There's so many different artists that I absolutely love and are very inspired by. Stephen Wilson and Devin Townsend are probably two of my biggest musician idols. Next question. Have you ever said to Scribbler, g'day mate? Maybe as a joke. God, pretty much any time I'd ever say g'day mate to anyone is usually in some form of a joke. I might have. She probably hit me for it. Next question. Are you looking forward to Scribbler's questions? Yes. No, I am looking forward to Scribbler's questions. I've seen her questions, and I know that answering them is going to take a long time because there's a lot of them. Next, what's the dumbest thing you have say to I'm assuming that's said to Scribbler. I've said some really dumb things before. I try to forget them, but I also try to remember not to say those dumb things as well. I've said some silly things. We all say silly things sometimes. You learn from them. But yeah, we all say some silly things. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember any really that I can just say here. I don't really remember them. And next question: when is Scribbler coming to Australia? Will be in August, I believe. Yay! Exciting. Alrighty, next up we've got Joseph Marison. Question 1. What is your favourite season of MLP Friendship is Magic? Probably season 2. I really liked season 2. I've got a lot of favourite episodes in season 2. What's your favourite MLP episodes? Ooh. A lot of the rarity ones from season 2 were really good. Sort of I'm so bad with the names of the episodes. Oh, alright, I'm going to do some really, really bad descriptive ones of some of my favourite episodes. Most of them would be from season 1 and 2. The one where I think is it the green is not your colour one? Is that the one with where Fluttershy becomes a model and Rarity and her don't communicate very well, and it's a lot of hijinks and fun times? That one. I quite like the one where Rarity goes to Canterlot and becomes a famous pony, and then has to sort of hide that from all her friends. That's a fun one. Where Rarity makes all the dresses in, I think it was season 1. Winter Wrap-Up was a lot of fun. Both the recent Maud Pie episode was really awesome, and the very first Maud Pie episode, that was really, really cool. The season finale of the one where Twilight's going through time and changing a bunch of things, that was really cool. The season finale with Tyrek was really cool. Pretty much all the Discord episodes I really, really love. Yeah, that's enough of my favorites. I could go on for a while. I love a lot of the episodes. They're really, really cool. What do you think of the Equestria Girls franchise? Mixed feelings about this one. Because, I mean, some of them are really quite fun, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one. I mean, yeah, because some parts are really fun. I love the way Sunset Shimmer is now. Sunset Shimmer is a really cool character, and I enjoy seeing her. She's really cool. She's my favorite part of the EQG franchise, definitely. Next up, we've got Davis Onesi Whistler. Favorite fast food franchise? I try really hard to stay away from fast food, and I'm usually pretty good. I haven't had any fast food stuff even really this year, at all. I very rarely have fast food things. But my favorites, God. Also the ones, I mean, there are some which are international, but even like I mean, like for example, KFC. KFC in Australia tastes very different to me than it does overseas, and in Australia it tastes much better than I've had in at least England or a few other different places. But uh, probably I'm not sure if this counts as a fast food franchise, but in a few sort of shopping centers, like what are they called? Like the food malls, sort of like in big shopping centers, the food courts. In the food courts of some shopping centers in Perth, Western Australia, there's this really awesome place called the Bucking Bull, and they serve like roasts and like roast vegetables and a bunch of different things like that. If they count as a fast food franchise, then they are my favorite because they are delicious. And anytime I ever go to a store which has them in the food court, which isn't very often, it's really quite rare, then I'll always get something from them because they are delicious. I am starving though. I could really go for some food at the moment. Any kind of food. I'm so hungry. Next up, I hope this letter reaches you. The burger I ordered got cold after I got home. Replace it for me. Disgruntled customer. I'm sorry that. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. I thought you were asking me what my favorite food franchise was. I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. Clearly, I'm losing my mind. Oh god. Anyone who was listening to like that last, god, like how long? 6 minutes is probably like, he's misread the question. What an idiot. What an idiot. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Alright, we're going to try this again. Dear fast food franchise, I hope this letter reaches you. The burger I ordered got cold after I got home. Replace it for me. Signed, disgruntled customer. Well, I'm really sorry about that, but no, my burger. I'm taking it. I'm taking the cold one. I'm too hungry. All right, next up we've got Xena, or as his name is on here, Sexy Xenomorph. God, you're such a character, man. What could I ask at this point? Just congratulations on the 3,000 subs, and I love you. Oh, you're awesome, man. Yay. And last, but certainly, absolutely certainly not least, you're my girlfriend. We have all the bazillion questions from Scribbler. Alrighty, here we go. Number 1, cake or death? Initially, I didn't know what this was, but then you showed me, and he's a very funny comedian. Cake. I'll go with cake, please. We'll take the cake. I'll pass on the death for today. We'll go with the cake. Number 2, best pony. Used to be Rarity, now probably Twilight. Worst pony. Worst pony. Gosh. I don't think I've ever been asked who's the worst pony. That seems a really tough question. God. Twist. We'll go with Twist. Twist is annoying. Hopefully you guys can't hear that plane. It sounds really loud. I'm sorry. Hopefully it'll go away soon. Next question. Is spaghetti bolognese the same as penne, linguine, tangellini, or freaking spaghetti hoops out of the freaking tin? This is all right. I got to explain this a little bit because you're not going to know what this is about. Scribbler and I were having a debate at the time when she wrote these questions. During like a 4-hour phone call that we had, we got into this surprisingly heated debate, which we look back on and laugh about now. At least I hope we do. I make myself spaghetti bolognese, but I never really told Scribbler that instead of using spaghetti pasta, I use penne pasta, which is like the tube looking ones. Of course, they're all made out of pasta. but I would always just say spaghetti bolognese, just because I've always called it spaghetti bolognese. It tastes like spaghetti bolognese, but technically there's no spaghetti in it. One of the things that Scribbler bought me for Valentine's Day was like this robotic fork thing, which is made for spaghetti, and it twists around, which is really cute and really cool. And she bought that for me because I always tell her that usually about once a week I'll make myself spaghetti bolognese, which is certainly very fair enough, and it was a very sweet gift. But I said I have spaghetti bolognese, but really there isn't really spaghetti in it. It's penne pasta, but I still call it spaghetti bolognese because saying I have penne bolognese just sounds weird. And yeah, she was saying I should call it pasta bolognese or penne bolognese, and I was like, I'm calling it spaghetti bolognese, and I guess she's right. I should probably call it pasta bolognese or penne bolognese. Yes, okay, you're right. I'm sure that'll come up later. But yeah, that's the story about it. So that's why that question is that question. Next one. Favorite non-rock song. So I suppose non-rock. I mean, I guess that's discluding metal as well. Gosh. I mean, I could say some really favorite sort of pop bands. Ages ago, I loved Savage Garden. Savage Garden, which they were an Australian pop band back in the 90s, I want to say, early 90s probably. I loved Savage Garden. Savage Garden were fantastic. I really enjoyed them. Another Australian I suppose they would be more of a rock pop sort of band. Be Icehouse. Had some really cool stuff, but and then a little bit more recently, I love some of the stuff by Metric, which are a pop band. Probably favorite non-rock song all time. I'd probably say "To the Moon and Back" by Savage Garden. They've got some amazing songs. Both those two albums of theirs are absolutely fantastic. Question 6: what is your favorite fanfic of all time and why? Gosh, I've got lots of different fanfics, but probably my all-time favorite would it would have to be Upheaval. I love Upheaval. Upheaval was such an amazing, absolutely breathtaking story, and I even really got my mum into ponies because I showed her Upheaval. I mean, when I last moved house, my mum helped me travel all the way down to Perth from Karratha, which is a 16-hour drive, even longer actually. It's probably about an 18-hour drive, which we did over 2 days, and the entire drive we listened to because I wanted to show her the story of Forrest Rain's reading of Upheaval. And even when we, at the end of like the 2 days of driving, the 2 full days of driving, we sort of pulled up and just wanted to keep driving around because we wanted to listen to the story. And I wanted to show her how it kept going and how it finished. And yeah, it was such an amazing story. And it's such an amazing story. But in saying that as well, I absolutely love your stories, Scribbly. You've got some amazing stories as well. I can't wait to see what happens next with Playing With My Heart. And I love your sort of outline story for No Place Like Home and Heroic Tale. Both of those absolutely mind-blowing sort of stories in the making. And yeah, those are some of my favorite fanfics. Next question. What is your least favorite fanfic you have ever heard or read? Oh god, this seems really tough to throw people under the bus like this, but actually no, I think I do know which ones. Cupcakes. I'm going to throw Cupcakes under the bus. I didn't much like Cupcakes. And My Little Dashie. It's yeah, My Little Dashie isn't the best. I'm going to throw Cupcakes under the bus first, though. I wasn't too much of a fan of cupcakes. Next question. Oh God, I've lost my place. Where is it? Oh, all right, here we go. Favorite podcasters and podcaster. Well, I can't. I mean, it feels tricky because you're a podcaster, Scribbler, and you're my favorite person. So I've got to say you. You are my favorite podcaster. But I do listen to a fair few podcasts. My favorite pony podcast would have to be the Semi Perfect podcast by AC Race Best and Saberspark. Those guys they're always really fun and really funny. But my favorite overall podcasts would actually be superhero podcasts, and my big time favorites would be the Weekly Planet podcast. That's such a fun podcast. It's very, very, very cool and always really enjoyable to listen to. Fat Man on Batman is a really, really good podcast with Kevin Smith. I really actually enjoy some of the Sandpants Radio podcasts. They've got an amazing D&D podcast. D&D is for nerds, which is a lot of fun, and there's some really awesome characters in that. They're Plumbing the Death Star podcast, where they talk about TV shows and movies and things like that. And yeah, those would be my favorite podcasters. Next question. Which celebrity would you most like to meet, either living or dead, and why? Probably, I'd have to go with the musicians, as I said before, like Stephen Wilson and Devin Townsend are two of my biggest musician idols, and I would love to meet them just because to be able to talk music with them would be amazing. To try to ever convince them to ever listen to my stuff would be a bit of a dream come true. And yeah, I've never really been a massive sort of person in regards to celebrities. Like I've never really followed celebrities as sort of to try to see what they're up to or anything like that, or that's never really been my thing. So I mean, yeah, I'd probably want to meet my favorite musicians, to be able to talk to them about music, and yeah, so I'd have to go with those two. Next question. What is the velocity of a thrown reverb? I'll have to go with depending on your strength. I don't reckon you'd be able to throw me very far because I'm taller than you. Ha. But the velocity is equal to... Oh, God, Astro's going to kill me. Like, I don't know, probably force of strength, angle, something or other. Yep. Math. Throw math at it. The velocity of reverb is math. 11, death or cake. I'm still going to have to go with the cake. I'm sticking with the cake on this one. Ask me again later. I might have changed my mind, but probably not. 12, why are goatees awesome? Oh gosh. I mean, I grew a goatee so that because ages ago when I just had just my long hair and no goatee, I thought my face looked a little bit feminine, and I sort of, I grew a goatee to make my face a bit more sort of, to make my features a bit more pronounced in certain ways and sort of to frame my face a little bit. But goatees are handy for that. The sort of, even beards in general can be pretty awesome because guys can grow different kinds of beards and different shaped beards and different goatees or stubbles or beards to be able to muck around with. And yeah, beards in general are awesome for that reason. Beards are fun. Next question. Acoustic or electric? I've played both and I love both. I have to go probably with electric. Acoustic can be really beautiful, but I owe too much to electric. So I have to go with electric. 14. Do you like hair metal? There are some amazing hair metal bands, especially back in the day. I don't typically call them hair metal bands. I'm quite bad with band genre names in general, but yeah, hair metal stuff is pretty good. I lean much more towards other kinds of, I mean, especially in the era sort of hair metal, I would lean more towards sort of thrash type metal in that sort of stuff, like around towards the end sort of era of hair metal. But there are some fun hair metal bands. Next question. Why don't you like horror movies? Because they scare me. I don't like being scared. I've always had this thing with horror movies where they really freak me out because, especially when I was younger, I had a real hard time finding the exact line where reality ends and fantasy begins, and sort of what could potentially be real and what wouldn't be real. And that always freaked me out about horror movies, just because I always thought they would just freak me out for a long time. And basically horror movies would haunt me, and they still do haunt me. I mean, I've got a much better grip on reality than I did when I was a kid, but I mean, these days they stick with me and they haunt me, and they make me feel afraid, which I know is kind of scary. I don't like horror movies because they make me feel afraid. I don't enjoy the feeling of feeling afraid. It's not a feeling that I enjoy. It's not one that I like, and it's one that sticks with me after watching scary things for quite a long time. So the thought of being scared for a long time scares me as well. So yeah, the fear and the fear of the fear. Question 16. If you didn't do the job you do now, what would your dream job be? I mean, I have to say music. Music would be a dream job. I mean, it'd be amazing to be able to write music for a living. Aside from that, playing games for a living would also be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'd probably have to go with that. Writing music or possibly playing games would be pretty amazing jobs. Next. Oh, God. Will you do your Elvis impersonation, please? Oh, God. This was ages ago. Actually, yeah, it was last August, I think, when Scribbler and I were mucking around with different impersonations in the car. And we weren't doing impersonations. We were trying different accents. And I tried doing sort of a southern North American accent, and apparently it came through as Elvis, and oh God, especially trying to do this on the spot would be really tricky and really tough, but I'll try to slip slowly into it. I guess this is my Elvis impersonation. This is me trying to do my Elvis voice. I don't know. I don't think it's really that good. I'll try to answer this next question in the voice to try to keep it going a little bit longer, but I really don't think it's all that good. Question 18. Why are pheasants so fucking stupid creatures? I've got to break this accent. This is going to drive me crazy. Oh God, my screen's gone to sleep. I haven't moved the mouse in ages. But pheasants are stupid creatures because they're suicidal, and they're very pretty, but suicidal creatures refer back to the video. I think I uploaded the pheasant one. Yeah. Either I did or Scribbler did. We uploaded a couple videos each. I think I uploaded the pheasants one, but the pheasants are crazy creatures because they're suicidal creatures. And there was this time when we were driving around in England, and I started recording the phone at the absolute perfect time, because we were sort of talking about how pheasants were being really silly, and we've seen a lot of them sort of either nearly get hit by cars or just dead on the side of the road. And that was like over an hour. We saw like maybe 5, and we thought, this is crazy. So I turned on the camera to start recording how crazy it was that there's so many pheasants and stuff. And just in the time of like 5 minutes, we saw about another 6, or like even like maybe 3 or 4, but a crazy amount for just within 5 minutes. So it was one of those very rare cases of just capturing a moment. So yeah, pheasants are stupid because they're suicidal, but they gave us a funny video. Next, pastries or demise? This seems like a thinly veiled question of a previous one. I'll go with pastries. Pastries sounds good. I'll pass on the demise. Go with the pastries. If you got any cake left, I'll have the cake. And the last question, do you still love me after all these silly questions? Yes, my Scribbler. I love you very, very much. And that's it. That's all for the questions. Oh my God, that took a long time. I'm so hungry. and I need to go to the bathroom. Thank you everyone so much for writing in all the questions, and I'm sorry that this is kind of unedited, and I hope it's not too painful to listen to. But yeah, thank you all so much for all your lovely questions, and thank you for sending for all your comments on all my songs in all this time. I love seeing the comments, and for taking the time to listen to my songs, and for liking them, and for all the time you've given me and my songs. It means so much. And I know a lot of my songs are really long as well, so it takes a lot of patience to listen to some of my stuff. So thank you everyone so much, and you inspire me to write more music, and yeah, it truly means so much to me. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to keep writing more music for you. Yay! Also, if you listen to this video all the way through to this far, you're an absolute legend. Seriously. Make sure to leave a comment to let me know if you made it all the way to this point, because that's crazy. You're all kinds of awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon for more music. Yay! Also, if you've ever got any sort of questions like this, if you're like, oh no, I didn't get a chance to get in my question, leave me questions. I'll try to answer them the best I can anyway, whether in a Q&A or not. So, yay! Thank you again, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.